This was a tough list to make, but here's my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. What's going on, guys? My name is Trevor. Welcome back to the channel. TV was something I've started to explore over the last couple years, really since 2020. I was always a movie guy, never really wanted to go and watch a full TV show, but I've changed my ways. I started watching a lot more TV, and today I'm sharing with you my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. There will be probably some hot takes in here. You're going to really disagree with a lot of my decisions, but that is okay because it is my top 10 list. Before I give you it, let me know your favorite TV shows of all time down below in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and if you're wondering why some of your favorites didn't make this list, well, I haven't seen them, or I don't like them. Let's get into it. At number 10 is a show that just had its second season, and it's eyeing to have its third season for 2024. This is Amazon Prime's The Summer I Turned Pretty. I know what you're gonna say. Are you freaking joking about you like The Summer I Turned Pretty? Team Comrade Jeremiah. First and foremost, I'm Team Jeremiah every day of the week. Second off, my wife has watched this show, both seasons, probably 10 plus times now, and it's a show that's always on in my house that I've just kind of grown accustomed to watching it, and it became my comfort show just as well as it became my wife's comfort show. Literally, I've watched season 2 3 times all the way through. It's just always on in my house, and I've just grown so attached to the show and the characters, and I know the beats and the moments, and I just like it. I love it, actually. Is it a little bit cheesy? Absolutely, but I love a good coming-of-age story, and this coming-of-age vibe following the characters of Belly, Jeremiah, Conrad, Steven, Taylor, and the drama that infuses with all of it. I'm here for it. My wife loves it. Makes me love it a little bit more. I watch it all the freaking time. At number 9 is Daredevil. Now, this would be a lot higher on this list, but I'm about midway through season 2, and it already had to make the list and knock a couple other shows off of it, because Daredevil is literally the best show Marvel has ever created. And by the time I'm finished with season 2 and season 3, I think it's gonna go even higher on this list. But Matt Murdock was a character I knew basically zero about, and I knew basically zero about the whole world and everything that was in Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen with Kingpin and everyone involved. So I kind of went into the show blind, and my goodness, have I been missing out. And if you haven't seen Daredevil, this is the best Marvel show to date. Honestly, it's one of the best Marvel things ever. And Kingpin is a fantastic villain who is just that physical presence, but also like that financial and mental presence. Like, he's always there, he's always around, and when he's not, you're constantly worrying about where he's gonna go. In season 2, the Punisher comes in, and the Punisher might just be my favorite Marvel character ever because he is so badass, he is so dope. Every episode has hit. There hasn't been one episode where I was like, nah, didn't really like it. No, I've loved every single episode. It's almost like hard R. It's like hard PG-13. It's dramatic, it's dark, it's gritty, and it's bad the freak ass. I love it. At number 8, Sons of Anarchy. This show, technically, they kind of takes place about 40 minutes from where I live. So they talk about a lot of cities and a lot of towns that are all near where I live, and I think that makes me enjoy it a little bit more. But this is one of the darkest shows I've ever watched because it seems so real. But the character of Jax Teller, played by Charlie Hunnam, is literally one of the coolest, most badass characters ever. It is following a biker gang that is out of this place called Charmy, which takes place between Stockton and Lodi. That beside the point, but that's about 30 to 40 minutes from where I live in Sacramento. So when I watch this show, I think I could like almost relate to it a little bit more because I'm like, oh, I know where that is. But it's following this charter, the Sons of Anarchy, and they're a biker gang, they're a biker club. We do it for the club. And it's basically all the drama and everything that goes on with this club. Them getting different business adventures from them getting in interactions and just brawls with other clubs. This show just keeps you attached, and there's so much trickery and there's so much like deceitfulness, and everyone's lying to each other. And honestly, I can't watch it all the time because it gives me anxiety, but Sons of Anarchy is one of the darkest, cruelest, honestly, perfectly done shows. At number 7 is The Boys. This is my favorite superhero TV show of all time, and it's not really close. This is the darkest, most raunchy, insane superhero show you could ever want, with one of my favorite villains of all time in Homelander, but with a bunch of characters that I absolutely love. From Huey to Butcher, this show just has characters you gravitate towards, to Mother's Milk. That's how bizarre this show is. They call him MM. His name's Mother's Milk. Are you joking? But this show is unapologetic. It will take out characters you love, and it is brutal, and it's really kind of hits hard on like, what if the world and the governments all had access to superheroes and villains? What would happen? And they kind of do a really good job that this is probably what would happen if we actually had access to these superheroes. It feels so real. It's done so well. It is absolutely hilarious. And Homelander, for how deceitful and such a dick he really is, he's one of my favorite characters in TV history. At number 6 is The Bear. This is a show that came out on Hulu, just had its second season this year. This is one of my favorite seasons of TV in 2023, starring Jeremy Allen White in a talented ensemble. It's about this young guy named Carmy, who was one of the greatest chefs in the world, running the greatest restaurant in the world, and his brother dies and leaves him and is like his will, his really run-down, not-so-great restaurant, and he is determined to take that restaurant and turn it from making these crap little sandwiches to a gourmet 5-star restaurant to get that Michelin star. And it really follows that. And I love to cook, and I love everything about cooking. So when I watch this show, I'm like already into it. Like, I'm watching Hell's Kitchen and everything basically other night. So when I come to this one, I'm like, oh, he's using this technique here. Oh, he's making that. So it just makes me enjoy it a little bit more. But the way that they just hit hard with these characters and they hit home and how the dialogue is done so well and how real this show really feels. Season 1 was absolutely perfect. Season 2 might just be even better. Jeremy Allen White is absolutely great, and it's just one of those shows that keeps you wanting more. A show about cooking and running a restaurant. I can't believe it's this interesting. At number 5, Ted Lasso. This has had its third and final season, and I think that was a perfect run for it. 3 seasons, and I think it really nailed it on the head. Jason Sudeikis is just the man as Ted Lasso, from his funny puns to just great wisdom he's constantly dropping, but this is one of the greatest ensembles you'll ever see in TV. Everyone knows their roles so well, everyone portrays their roles so well. It's one of those shows that doesn't even really make you laugh all that much. It just makes you feel good while you're watching it. And that's every time I watch Ted Lasso. By the time I'm done with the episode, I generally feel all warm and fuzzy. I have a smile on my face. And I'm like, that really just delivered on exactly what I wanted. I think it ended perfectly. I think there's a little bit of controversy with how it ended. A lot of people weren't big fans. But for me, I was basically in tears the last couple episodes. And the finale itself, I thought was perfect. Set up for a bunch of spin-offs, and I'm here for them. At number 4, The Office. Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, Jim and Pam. This is, again, one of the better ensembles in TV. A lot of these shows have great ensembles, but The Office is one of those shows that is just absolutely hilarious because of how devoted everyone is to their roles. And it's like a mockumentary. They're filming a documentary everywhere around, so when Jim's constantly looking over at the camera to Michael yelling, "That's what she said!" to Dwight being a great salesman, but also being just a weird guy. This show is just one of the funniest things I've ever watched. It makes you feel good, but it'll also just make you laugh your freaking butt off. And this how they talk about this, like these dumb situations, but they all seem so serious about it inside the show. That's what's great. When Michael Scott leaves, obviously the show drops off a little bit, but by the time the series finale came around, it was pretty cool. That's what she said. At number 3, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've watched this show countless times. It's one of those shows I watch all the time as a kid, and even when I go back to revisit it now as an adult, while it is definitely more targeted for kids, it is still one of the most epic stories you can ever watch. And I've been watching The Legend of Korra as well, a fantastic sequel series to Avatar: Last Airbender. Aang, Katara, Sokka, to Momo and Appa. This show's characters are so cool, but just how it follows them, it's like the Fellowship of the Ring. That's the vibes I get. And the journey they go on with Aang, who is the last airbender, and he's the new avatar, to go and learn all the elements from water to fire to earth. And by the time you go to Sozin's comment, by the end, you went on this journey with all of them. They've been through the ringer, but they are all ready to face the Fire Lord and just face the music. Zuko's my all-time favorite Avatar: The Last Airbender character. I want to do more Avatar: The Last Airbender content, so if you guys would like that, let me know down below. At number 2, Game of Thrones. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I love Season 8. I didn't like it so much the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I really, really enjoyed it. This show, from the way it started to the way it ended, it told such a cohesive story, and each season you were just constantly invested to it, with Season 2 being the weakest and Season 4 through 8 really, really being strong. This show has so many episodes that'll make your jaw drop, that'll literally make your mind just want to explode, especially the Reigns of Castamere, Season 3, Episode 9. If you know, you know. But it's also one of those shows where don't get too attached to any character, because no one is off limits. They kill characters, they bring characters back. Characters you think they'd never kill, they do. The characters you hate the most that you want to see someone take out, those characters get taken out in such a brutal fashion. Some of the best action sequences you can ever see, some of the best medieval wars you can ever watch, to just the lore of Game of Thrones itself. It's one of those shows I want to rewatch all the freaking time. But at number 1 is Netflix's Stranger Things. This show means so much to me because it's one of those shows that I was really late to, that I started watching, and then I started getting so invested to it, and then I started crying when I was watching it, to listening to the score in my car, to watching this season 4 last year, which in my opinion is the greatest season of TV of all time. Stranger Things is set up to be a perfect show if they stick the landing with a 5th and final season. To be a coming-of-age story in the town of Hawkins with all these kids growing up, to literally their world getting flipped upside down. It's one of the craziest, scariest sci-fi stories ever, and these young kids are so likable. They're bantering back and forth. It feels like they're actually best friends. And the way they hit on the horror elements throughout this series, several times you're looking away. It does get a little dicey. It does get a little bit scary. To just the way they'll make you laugh so suddenly, to the way they introduce a character throughout one season that'll just make you laugh and just make you love them so much. This show means so much to me. It gives me characters I absolutely love. Has some of my favorite TV characters of all time. Some of my favorite actors working today. Stranger Things, my favorite show of all time. I don't think anything will ever top Stranger Things, and I'm really hoping they stick the landing with season 5. And I'm gonna guess that they will. Stranger Things is my favorite TV show of all time. Let me know your top 10 favorite TV shows of all time down below in the comments section. If you're wondering what Breaking Bad is, I do not like it. It's one of my least favorite shows freaking ever. It's boring as heck. That's why it's not on this list. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe button. I think I already said that. I'm gonna go now. Alright, take care.